So thank you so much for having me. I often get asked, where did my journey with skincare begin and where did my journey with Beardroga begin? I think my journey with skincare began with my very first pimple and which turned into what is really was the most horrendous acne. And, at that age, I don't know if you have a brand in the US called Clearasil. Do you have Clearasil?
Mm,
Anyway,
yep, yep.
it's a pharmacy brand. And, the first things, mothers do is they go into the pharmacy and they pick up every drying sort of aggressive skincare product they can. And during my teens, I just, it really did affect me. I tried absolutely everything. And I started, I went into a beauty salon as a gift. I got a gift voucher from one of the girls at school. And I went to the beauty salon. She gave me a treatment. She said, I really want to help you. But my family were really poor. We couldn't afford those treatments. And she could see that I really needed help. She said, why don't you come in and help me on a Saturday? And I will pay you in a facial each week. Oh my gosh, I was like 14. I was like, oh wow, this is fantastic. So I didn't tell my parents that this is what I wanted to do, but I really wanted to become a skin therapist at 14 or 15. And it was something that stayed with me. When I left school, I went to nursing school first, but then I really wanted to become a beauty therapist. But my skin was still really bad. And at the college, they were a school with Beardroga. Now, way back then, Walter Friedman, who was still he created the company. He's our grandfather at Beardroga. He really had a really different way of treating skin that what was happening at the time, and that was working with the skin and not against it. And this was none more sort of obvious than in his line called Skin Puran, which we now know as Clear Skin.
Mm.
And one product in it very specifically was the cleansing fluid. Now, if you look at our current cleansing fluid, it has had some updates, but the core of it was what he had back then, which is mind blowing, which is absolutely mind blowing to think that, we think we've come so far and we had to change when really the core of working with the skin is something we still have sort of grabbed on to hold on to now. And that is working with the skin barrier. If you can keep beautiful, good bacteria high, P. acne has no chance. And so Beardroga changed my skin. And it began a love
Nice.
affair. It began a love affair for what is now 31 years. My husband often says to me, he's third. There's, the dog Beardroga in him. But, I don't like to play favorites, but Beardroga is my number one. Um, but
Beatrice.
and he uses all Beardroga now, so he can't talk. I think that he'd throw me over the side for his high performance cream as well. So I'm saying. But
Nice.
then, so then I introduced Beardroga into my first salon, and it really has been the cornerstone of my career. So now I work for Germany, for Beardroga in Germany, as one of their international trainers, and sharing my passion for skincare is something that makes me get up in the mornings. It's what I absolutely love. But one of the wonderful things that I've been able to bring was being a salon owner because I see it from the salon side. I'm the distributor, but I'm also a trainer. So I get to see it from, each pillar, which makes it very easy to be able to help people. So thank you for having me.
Oh,
So thank you so much for having me. I often get asked, where did my journey with skincare begin and where did my journey with Beardroga begin? I think my journey with skincare began with my very first pimple and which turned into what is really was the most horrendous acne. And, at that age, I don't know if you have a brand in the US called Clearasil. Do you have Clearasil?
mm,
Anyway,
yep,
it's a
yep.
pharmacy brand. And the first things mothers do is they go into the pharmacy and they pick up every drying sort of aggressive skincare product they can. And during my teens, I just, it really did affect me. I tried absolutely everything. And I started, I went into a beauty salon as a gift. I got a gift voucher from one of the girls at school. And I went into the beauty salon. She gave me a treatment. She said, I really want to help you. But my family were really poor. We couldn't afford those treatments. And she could see that I really needed help. She said, why don't you come in and help me on a Saturday? And I will pay you in a facial each week. Oh my gosh, I was like 14. I was like, oh wow, this is fantastic. So I didn't tell my parents that this is what I wanted to do, but I really wanted to become a skin therapist at 14 or 15. And it was something that stayed with me. When I left school, I went to nursing school first, but then I really wanted to become a beauty therapist. But my skin was still really bad. And at the college, they were a school with Beardroga. Now, way back then, Walter Friedman, who was still he created the company. He's our grandfather at Beardroga. He really had a really different way of treating skin that what was happening at the time, and that was working with the skin and not against it. And this was none more sort of obvious than in his line called Skin Puran, which we now know as Clear Skin. And one product in it very specifically was the cleansing fluid. Now, if you look at our current cleansing fluid, it has had some updates, but the core of it was what he had back then, which is mind blowing, which is absolutely mind blowing to think that, we think we've come so far and we had to change when really the core of working with the skin is something we still have sort of grabbed on to hold on to now. And that is working with the skin barrier. If you can keep beautiful, good bacteria high, P. acne has no chance. And so Beardroga changed my skin. And it began a love
Nice.
affair. It began a love affair for what is now 31 years. My husband often says to me, he's third. There's, the dog Beardroga and him. But, I don't like to play favorites, but Beardroga is my number one. Um, but
Beatrice.
and he uses old Beardroga now, so he can't talk. I think that he'd throw me over the side for his high performance cream as well. So I'm just saying. But
Nice.
then, so then I introduced Beardroga into my first salon, and it really has been the cornerstone of my career. So now I work for Germany, for Beardroga in Germany, as one of their international trainers, and sharing my passion for skincare is something that makes me get up in the mornings. It's what I absolutely love. But one of the wonderful things that I've been able to bring was being a salon owner because I see it from the salon side. I'm the distributor, but I'm also a trainer. So I get to see it from, each pillar, which makes it very easy to be able to help people. So thank you for having me.
So, well, I grew up here in California. My family had a salon, so I was like 8 years old. It just was in my, like my dad laughed when I kept trying to go back to college, which I'm doing now finally. But it was like this was what I did. I was a makeup artist. I was in the cosmetics industry, and I had problem skin like Will. And I was a snob. I thought I was working with all the high end, the French lines. And fortunately, the first spa I worked at was a German woman, and she had Biodroga and did never heard of it. So I always tell people if you didn't hear of us, that's okay, because we don't spend it in all the marketing. It's in the quality, changed my skin. And then I actually moved back to California. I was kind of done. I've been doing this most of my life, and I came back for the entertainment industry, and I met Sonia at Euro Pacific. And I just wanted to buy for myself. And when she knew who I was and what I was doing, I was moving back to LA, she goes, I need somebody. And like Will says, I still always say I fell in love. And I've actually fallen back in love with this industry because of the changes and everything that we are doing with the clean beauty, because I'm a nutrition coach too. So I've always preached about microbiomes and the health of the skin. I never got into some of that stuff that they're doing and treating face like an old piece of furniture. And just, I'm like, health, health, build it. So I'm a forever customer. And I love Biodroga. And Will has been the best trainer I've ever worked with. Because I tell everybody who's here, like we know things. I have, 30 years experience, but he's in there. He's in the labs. He can answer questions that I'm not there. Like, why didn't they recreate this? And why didn't they bring this back? So it's very important to join these classes. And I'm just so happy to be here with you all and part of the family.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah. I've been an esthetician for almost 30 years. I was also a massage therapist. I worked for myself when I was back in Los Angeles for 20 years. And I was also a trainer for a French skincare company as well. I moved to Texas, and believe me, coming from France, I had no idea I was going to end up in Texas. And I married a guy from Texas. With the hat, the boots and everything. And so I've been with Biocosmetic of Texas for 13 years. I kind of forget sometime. I add years or I subtract years. We never know with me. And I love Biodroga. I love those products from Germany. Being French, European products are absolutely fantastic. And I fell in love again with Biodroga 2 years ago when they changed the line to a better line, a clean line. And every day when you use the products, you are amazed of the result of those products. And I'm so lucky to be part of Biodroga, to be part of this community because we are really, when we have a question, we ask Will, and I discovered Will a couple years ago, and I'm so, so thankful that now is my trainer, my personal trainer, actually. Knew a few things about Biodroga, but since, I'm listening to Will, I'm like, oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. And it's absolutely fantastic because it's changing the way we do our trainings. It's changing the way, we use the products as well. So we are very excited. I am very excited to be part of this and to be part of Biocosmetic of Texas. So we're going to focus on sales today. So how to increase your sales with only one product you're going to recommend per customers. Okay. So each time you're going to see a customer, you're going to be able to recommend the right product. So let's do some math this morning and see how we can do that. So first, I'm going to do some math on just doing treatments. Some of you estheticians, might not be so good at recommending products. So I wanted to show you the difference on just doing treatments. And later on, I'm going to talk about the difference with recommending products. So let's start with just plain treatments. So I had to, contact a bunch of estheticians to do an average price and average numbers of facials that the esthetician are doing per day. So first, the price of a European facial, it's an hour basic facial. The average is around 150. Okay, and we're not selling any products for this example right now. So let's see how much money are we going to make per day. So we said 5 treatments per day. So $150 times 5, it's 750. And now we're going to see how much more money we're going to make per week. So we take 750 times 5 per week, we're going to make 3,750. Okay, and now we're going to work a whole month. So 4 weeks out of the month, we're going to take that 3,750 times 4 weeks. We are going to make $15,000 per month. Okay, by just doing basic facials. I know that all of you are doing other treatments, and I'm not including those treatments in our example. So now, let's do more than our regular job of doing treatment. Now we're going to do treatments and we're going to recommend one product per customer. Okay. And you're going to see that sometime one product is okay, but sometimes it's not, depending on the skin condition, okay, the skin concern. Your customer might need the whole package with cleanser, toners, serums and everything. But here we are just going to focus on recommending only one product per customer, okay? So I took an average price of a product and I'm using for my math only the profit. So the treatment is $150 again, okay? And I'm adding $35 as an average profit, all right? Which is really, not that much. It means that the products you are actually recommending to your customer is $70 for them, okay? So 150 plus 35 profit is 185. So let's see how much money we're going to make per day. So 5 treatments a day and 5 products is going to be 185 times 5, which is equal to 925. Okay, so let's see how much money we're going to make a week. It's going to be 925 times 5 days a week. We're going to make 4,625. And let's do the math for the month. So per month, we're going to do 4,625 times 4 weeks for the month. And now we're going to make 18,500. What is the difference between recommending products for each customer for a whole month versus just doing our basic facials? So we're going to take that number, 18,500 minus $15,000. So what is the difference? It's going to be 3,500 profit just on products, just on the profit of the recommendation of one product per customer. It's amazing. What can you do with $3,500 profit? Will, Nicole, what can you do with that? An extra, over $3,000 a month.
You know,
I know people that want another 3,500 a month, but I said personally, I would like them to invest and expand their retail. And Will, tell us about why we need Be a Drug and Medical complete line eventually.
yeah, so I often say with the entire lines, now we're very lucky to have organic and bioscience and medical. And with the bioscience and organic, yeah, you can pick and choose what you really want for your salon. But for medical, that's not the case. And I look at it like an artist painting a picture. And you're painting the picture and you look down and you don't have blue. Oh, and I don't have green.
Oops.
So
Work.
you can't paint the picture. You can't create what you want. You cannot give solutions to your clients if you don't have the solutions. So I think with Medical Institute, it's really important to keep at least 1 to 2, I like to say 2 minimum of everything in medical, the cleansers, the lotions, the serums, the moisturizing solutions, and the mask and the sunscreen. It's really important. It's not a huge line. It's not a huge line. What is really important is all of the booster serums.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the booster serums, you cannot provide those solutions to your customers. And guess where they're going to go if you can't provide the solutions? To
Yeah,
somewhere else.
word.
Okay, to Sephora or online.
Amazon,
Yeah.
Sephora. Mm-hmm.
They're going to find it elsewhere. Those ones are really, really important for you to have. So investing in your stock on hand is an investment in your business. It's an investment. And stock on a shelf it's an asset. It's not a cost. This is an asset. You buy it for 10, you sell it for 20, you've made $10. This is an asset. We often look at stock and think, oh, it's dead money. Well, it's not dead money if you're turning it
Mm-hmm.
over. It's only dead money if you're not turning it over. If it's just
Yeah.
sitting there and 12 months later, you've still got a moisturizer there you haven't sold, it's dead money. But turning over stock is an asset. It's an investment. It's making you money.
And I just want to interject very quickly because we do have some single estheticians who might get overwhelmed with us saying this. And although what Will is saying is 100% true, remember that both Euro Specific and us have drop ships. So if you happen to have two of the products but not one, or you don't have any, your customer can get it the next day. Because we can, we will send it to them. We do charge $17 shipping, so it's better if you have it on your shelf, but it's not like you cannot do it if you have it on your shelf. You just really need to know what are the necessary products that you need for
Yeah.
that condition, skin condition.
So
And
I went to IKEA the other day and I breed fish, so I'm fish crazy. And I went to IKEA to buy this stand and they said to me, oh, I don't have any, we don't have that in stock. I was so angry. I was like, I've seen the marketing, you've tried to sell me this and you don't even have it. So there is nothing more frustrating for a customer
yeah.
than you saying, oh, I'm sorry, I recommended that azelaic acetate. I don't actually have any.
Yeah.
Doesn't it doesn't look good. But be able to say, look, we can actually get that to you in the next couple of days. Oh wow.
Absolutely. It will
I
be delivered to your house.
I
Mhm.
always think if you can provide solutions to problems, people love that even more. It's like going above and beyond. So let's look
Yeah.
and see how much this was over the year.
$42,000. Oh my God. It's a lot of products. Products you're going to recommend to your customers. So that money goes into your pocket and you can definitely, invest that money in new products.
Or first
Okay.
class ticket to Baden-Baden. Let me just
Yes. Yeah.
I'll just
And
look
that and
at
that is for only one product. That is only one
Yes,
product per
per
client.
customer.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like I
all of
like
my all of my salons, we focus on one product per client. That's what
That
we focus on. If there's more than one, because there needs to be that in a solution package, then that's fine. But we focus on one product,
I-
and one product is really doable.
Yeah.
And just from my experience, when we first opened, we were a big waxing salon, and a lot of salons start that way. We were waxing and manis and pedicures and massage and so forth. And we didn't really sell a lot of product. And even though we had Beardroga and I loved it, we didn't sell a lot. And then when we began to refocus on being a skin focused clinic and we started to retail product, you could see the growth in retail. And that came from my business coach. My business coach, she was like, what are you doing? You're drinking the milk and not the cream. Where's the cream? Where is the cream at the top of this? So it was important, I think, for me to understand the money side of it. And I thank you, Edith, for showing us that.
Oh, you're very welcome. I use it, Nicole, also when I go to schools and I talk to students, and they are amazed, how much money they can make without working so hard.
Mhm.
So it's a wonderful slide to have to show estheticians and students as well. So definitely, yeah.
you have to be retailing, otherwise you're hands on 20, for all your work hours. And I've always said this, and I've always taught this because I've always been proud of the brand that I use and only used what I love. But when we had COVID, the people that weren't suffering as much were the ones that were
Yeah.
still retailing.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah,
mean, it pays
absolutely.
off in many ways.
So
Mhm.
Edith has told us all that, and this sounds great, but how? How do we
I
do this?
know.
It's
How
great
do we
to
do
it's
this?
great to think about this, but how? And so I've created a little flow chart, and we will provide all of this information in a cheat sheet PDF for you after the training. Okay, so let's talk about the how with this. Now, sorry. So each time a customer comes in, we really need to start from the beginning. Now, I do know I've worked in a clinic, obviously, so I do know how easy it is to think, oh, well, you know what? I know Susie, so, just take her into the room. Oh my gosh. And this happens so much. I'd see it with my therapist and I would do it myself. Naughty boy. And because it's just too easy to think whatever. And then at the end, wonder why Susie's not coming on board with the suggestions you've made. So I look at it this way in this, I'm just going to move this so I can see everything. Okay. So when the client, this is a very easy flow chart to look at. The start, and there's a question we always have to ask our clients is, and we're going to go through some quick key questions in the next slide. So we'll just follow the flow chart first. Are you happy with your skin? This is the most important question we can ask our customers. Are you happy with your skin? If you do not ask this, then you cannot start on the journey. Now, I like to talk about, you call it a GPS in the States, is if you do not put the information into the GPS at the beginning, and I'm a terrible, terrible passenger. So, we do use the GPS because my husband cannot rely on me to get us to where we're supposed to be. So instead of, stopping fights, we always put the information into the GPS, and that is where we want to go. So you need to put this information into the GPS, and this is all part of the time that you have with your customer from the beginning right to the end. The question is, are you happy with your skin? If the customer says to you, yes, I'm happy, thank you, then you would ask them, then why are you here? Okay. So the customer will say, purely, I just want to feel wonderful. I just, you know what, I'm just so stressed at work. I just want to feel your magic hands. And do you know what? That's okay. We have become a little bit like, oh, well, just, relaxation. No, I'm telling you now, a lot of the customers will want to come just to feel good. And guess what? We are a feel good industry. We
Mhm.
are not just skin, condition oriented. I don't like that. We need to go back also to the wellness side. And it might be the customer just needs it on that day. They just need to feel good that day. Fighting with the husband, daughter doesn't want to go to university. Oh my gosh, I just want the magic hands. And then you would go beauty treatment or wellness treatment. But with this particular client, it doesn't mean you can't look at their skin and think to yourself in your mind, okay, looks like Susie has some pigment on the side of her face. So what I'm going to do at the end is I'm going to give Susie some samples of the vitamin C serum and talk to her about, I just noticed this on your side of your face. No, you're not telling her to buy it. You're not telling her, all you're doing is saying, I saw this. Can I do this to you? And Susie will say, wow, I love it. And you would give her professional home care advice. Wonderful. That's the journey that she's gone on that journey. So what if the client says no? Are you happy with your skin? No. It's really important then to ask more questions. Questions, questions, questions. The next question would be, do you want to change your skin? So you're not happy with it. Do you want to change it? Now we'll just go off on one particular client. The client has said they're not happy with their skin. Do you want to change it? No.
Mm.
We all know this customer. No.
Yes.
I don't want to change it. Are you happy? No, but I don't want to change it. Okay. Then this particular client, when we talk about conflict resolution, this particular client has decided there is nothing you're going to do. And then we would just go up, beauty treatment, no problem. But we would just start again next time. Okay. Do not push this client. This is not defeat. And a lot
Mhm.
of junior therapists and senior therapists will see this as defeat. It's not. Because why? You've asked questions. You've asked the important questions. Are they happy with their skin? No. But do you want to change it? No. And that, guess what? That might just be today. I don't want to change it today. I'm not happy, but I don't want to change it today. And that's okay. It's not, it's not like it's the end of the world. We're not terrible therapists. The client has made the decision.
Yeah, and the client is not ready for it, maybe. So next time they come,
Absolutely.
you'll go over those questions again, right?
Yeah. And this is why when we're making targets for our staff, I think it's really important to train this because a lot of staff members will get like feel bad because they're not hitting a particular target. But if they're asking these questions and they're not, then I'm okay with that. If they're going through all the steps and processes, and we're about to hit an election here, and I can tell you for the next 2 weeks, sales will be down because people like to hold their money when there's times of uncertainty. So you've got to take all these into account. If my therapists, my students go through this flow chart and it comes to a no, I'm okay. You've done your due diligence. But what if the client says yes? Now, this is the most important part. It's in the middle, it's in red. Can I talk to you today about ingredients that will help with your skin concern? Now, this is asking permission. This is permission based. So, this is about the client giving you the pathway to be able to just talk ingredients, not sell her anything, not even suggest it here, just to talk about the ingredient and how it's going to help the skin concern that Susie has. And then you would use this to go into your diagnosis in the room. And guess what? If it's, say, acne, in that diagnosis, you're going to be talking about salicylic acid and niacinamide. And they're going to be your focus. You're going to be talking about these ingredients, not the product it's in, none of that. Don't want it, don't care. Could be in any of your brands, any of your brands. We're talking niacinamide, we're talking salicylic acid. And that's where you have to know your ingredients. Really important. I sometimes go into salons and when they talk about bunnies in headlights, and I say, "Hi, Kylie, tell me about salicylic acid."
Yep.
If you don't know what salicylic acid does
Mm-hmm.
and where to find it and how to use it, then you cannot go on this journey. So the client says yes, and then we would go through ingredient suggestions and on to professional home care advice. But the most important tiny thing is, do you want to change your skin? And can I talk to you about these ingredients? If you do that at the beginning, if you do that right at the beginning, then at the end, it's so easy. It is so easy because they have given you permission to talk about it. They've told you they want to change their solution. At the end, if they say no, not today, again, that's okay. And we would give samples. But I guarantee you, if we talk ingredients and we present the product as ingredients, we don't even say the price. Would you like to start using the tranexamic acid we talked about today?
Mm-hmm.
Not in this serum, not in this. Would you like to talk about, would you like to talk about the salicylic acid we talked about today? Today. Not would you like to start, would you like to use it? They could say yes, but not today.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to do it today? And then you get the client saying, okay, I said yes, we talked about these ingredients, and now I'm going to start using the ingredient. Any questions?
Yeah, this is absolutely
You're
fantastic.
prescribing,
It's going to help a lot of estheticians, definitely.
you're prescribing it like a professional, and that's what we do because where are people shopping these days? My biggest pet peeve, social media. They're buying because the marketing is so strong and
Yep.
they're telling them what's going to make their life and skin better.
Yeah.
We're the license, we're working with active ingredients. So the way that you described it, well, I think is going to change a lot of people's.
Mm-hmm.
What I also talk about is I do not like at the end of the treatment therapists coming behind desks. So we now know with Apple, with Sephora, these companies, they are serving out on the floor. Okay, so we want to be doing this not behind a desk. We also don't necessarily want to do it at a wall full of products. I like to step a little bit away from the wall. So you're out from the wall, so in between the wall and the desk, in the open, so the client doesn't feel railroaded. We're just talking about an ingredient away from that area, focusing in on the product inside. This is where the ingredients, this is where we're going to find the ingredients. And then we can talk about how to use it after. But I just don't, when you go behind that counter, you lose that connection. When you take someone to a wall of products, oh my gosh, it gives anxiety. They're like, okay, this is where it starts. They're going to get me to do one thing, and next thing you know, it's going to be the entire line. No. Take all that away, step away. It's just you and them and the product that contains the ingredients that they're dying to start using.
And
Yeah.
always remember, the goal is it's not about selling, it's about helping. So
Yes,
that's what we're
absolutely.
doing. We
Mhm.
are actually really caring. So it's not sale, sale, sale. We do it because we really believe and we know we're going to change their skin. It's
So
exciting.
yeah, absolutely. So how do we come up with the questions? So I've created 3 questions that I believe these key questions are the questions we give. So when our customers come in, we have a sheet and we then get them to fill out this every single time as soon as they arrive. So they just sit down, we have a sheet. Now people say, well, do they want to do it every time? Yes, we need to do this every single time. The first one is, are you happy with your skin? So these questions actually take the place, where we have the fundamental questions. I've got them here. This is how
Yeah.
you ask them. This is how you ask them. Are you happy with your skin? If not, what aspects do you dislike about it? So the client is offering lots of information here. Are they happy with their skin? Okay, yes or no. So if the client says, no, I'm not happy with their skin, okay, they need to be able to provide you with the aspects they don't like about it. And that might be pigment, it might be acne, it might be saying, oh, my wrinkles and my lines. So you're getting them to tell you what they don't like and if they are happy. Really important.
Mhm.
The second question, are you currently using any skincare ingredients, not product, ingredients, to address the concern about the aspects they don't like about it? See how it begins to connect? Okay. So they're currently using any skincare ingredients. So let's just say you're happy with your skin. No. What aspects do you dislike about it? Pigmentation. Okay. So are you currently using any skincare ingredients to address this concern? Vitamin C. Are the products containing these ingredients working? Not really. Okay. Or they might say yes. Now this is a really interesting one because you'll come up against a little bit of a block here. But if they're saying they're not happy with their skin and they have aspects they don't dislike about it, but they still think the ingredients are working, there's a mind thing going on here.
Mm-hmm.
This is an instant block here saying, do not sell me anything. Okay. So this instantly gives you, okay, so this is what the client is thinking. It's all psychology. It really is. Okay. And this particular client, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. You're going to have to put on your esthetician hat and you're like, okay, all the things I've learned, we're going to work with this customer. But are the products containing these ingredients working? So if the customer says no, okay, if the customer says no, there are a lot of things that start to go in my mind here. Okay, they're currently using vitamin C, and I might ask questions. What's the concentration of the vitamin C? Oh, it's a 10%. Do you know if it's L-ascorbic acid or is it a palmitate of vitamin C? Oh, it's a palmitate. Okay. So these things I'm starting to ask questions about what the ingredients are. In this vitamin C serum, is there any other ingredients? No. Okay. So I know within myself, I'm not going to go in to focus on vitamin C. No, I'm going to focus on the tranexamic acid.
Mm-hmm.
That's the little ingredient doing bing, 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 bing here Because if you start talking vitamin C, the customer's going to be like, oh, I already use it. And you might say 15% is better than 10%, blah, blah, blah. We've
Mhm.
all heard it all before. We are going to focus on the tranexamic acid. And this is what I go into my diagnosis when I'm talking about. And I know what is the benefits of tranexamic acid. It is a powerful melanin inhibitor. It works even better. Don't say it's better. It works even better than vitamin C. And guess what? Vitamin C and tranexamic acid together, they are the dynamic duo. So don't diss the vitamin C that they've been using, but the fact we're going to use it together, that's like Batman and Robin. Okay, the two of them are going to work together and focus on what does tranexamic acid do? It really helps with deep pigment. It works with really deep, stubborn pigment. Wow. And this is in the diagnosis. These are things you're talking about. Not a product, not the serum, nothing. And you stop. At the end of the diagnosis, I like to even talk during the cleanse and the exfoliation. I don't like to talk about the Kardashians and what's happening, in the US elections, the elections. I like to focus on skin. And during that, I will talk about tranexamic acid and I'll talk about the benefits of tranexamic acid, how they should be cleansing. So,
Mhm.
Susie, how are you cleansing your skin? Oh, I use a foam and I jump in the shower. She's got dreadfully dry skin. This is the chance to talk to your customer. But at the end of the exfoliation, I stop. I stop there because the next bit is their time. But
Mhm.
guess what? You've planted the seed. I used to see it all the time. Before we started doing the flow chart in my clinic, I'd see my junior therapists spend all this time at the beginning of the treatment doing, whatever. And then at the end going, okay, Susie, I really want you to buy calming gel, calming lotion, this moisturizer. And then Susie's like, no, because her journey's over. She's done. And she's now being sold products. She's
Yeah.
not using anything that she was talked about, that she gave permission for you to talk about. It's just block. It's
Mhm.
just block. It's all about those little questions at the beginning.
And also, one thing that will help, it's when you take the before picture and after picture and you show them and you talk to them after the treatment and said, this is what I use. I use the tranexamic acid, and look at the difference. And this will help you, to recommend that ingredient as well.
Do not write anything down for them.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, because if the clients at that they'll say no, okay, and you might say, well, next time, or you might provide them, with a sample. With a sample, it's hard because they could go away. You have to be ready for this. They might go away and look for it elsewhere. But this happens with all brands. It happens in every salon. This is not something that is unique to us. You have to believe in yourself. This is why I'm not crazy for samples. I'm not, for me, I think samples are really important with moisturizers, with texture, okay, because the texture and so forth, with CCs and DDs for color, but sampling serums, what for?
Mhm.
I mean, you need a serum over a period of time to show effect. You really
Mm-hmm.
are just giving them an opportunity to go elsewhere. So, in my salon, I do not like my therapists to give sample serums. I don't. So we're going to go back to this particular customer. So I will just get you now, Edith, just to present a customer to me.
Yes. All right. So I have a customer who has hyperpigmentation. But so she's around 50 years old and she had acne. So she has hyperpigmentation from acne, but also she has H spot as well. Okay, so what do you think she will need to use for that two types of hyperpigmentation?
Okay, wonderful. Now, with pigment, and this is why I wanted to do this one first, is I always say with clients with pigmentation is we need a contract. We need an agreement. Okay, what we're gonna call this lady Kylie. Okay, Kylie. I love Kylie.
Okay.
So we'll
That
do
was my client.
Kylie, Kylie.
I
Um,
had a problem.
I'm gonna say to Kylie, we're going to go forward with treatments, there's one in product that is absolutely non-negotiable, and this is SPF 50 every single day.
Absolutely, yes.
So this is the one product that we cannot not go on the journey together with.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say it's a non-negotiable. And it needs to be SPF 50 and it needs to be applied properly. Okay. So,
Properly and multiple times.
and multiple times and multiple
Mm-hmm.
times. So Carly says, yes, Will, I'm going to use that. So I'm going to focus on some different ingredients with pigmentation. Vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is a wonderful ingredient for many things. It's a powerful antioxidant. It helps with the capillary strength. We know it causes instant, really instant radiance to the skin. Beautiful product. But it is also a melanin inhibitor. What is a melanin inhibitor? A melanin, if you think about it, turning down the music. Okay, music's blaring, it turns down the music. It turns down the music, turns down the amount of melanin being produced. Wonderful ingredient. Next ingredient is niacinamide. Niacinamide or vitamin B3, wow, it has so many benefits. It helps with skin barrier. Vitamin B3 niacinamide is essential for ceramide production. But one of its other benefits is it inhibits the transfer of melanin in the skin, the sending of melanin. Essential ingredient for pigmentation. Third one is azelaic acid, is another melanin inhibitor and an anti-inflammatory ingredient. Wow. So we have an anti-inflammatory ingredient because a lot of post-traumatic acne pigmentation comes from the inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last ingredient, the one is the tranexamic acid. So these 4 ingredients are essential for treating pigmentation. So I would suggest these ingredients, talk about these ingredients within the diagnosis and the time of the client, and I would prescribe at the end. How I would prescribe this is AM, the 15% vitamin C serum. Now I say all over or spot treatment. Now, our past vitamin C, I probably said this a little less, but our current vitamin C is very strong. Now, I've had clients come back and say, oh, it's too strong. Why didn't they make it this? Why didn't they make it that? Pigmentation is a bugger to treat. Sorry, but it is a bugger to treat. Why would we have a vitamin C serum, a pigmentation serum that's not strong? So people can use it as their daily glow serum. I'm not interested in this vitamin C being a daily glow serum. That might be a side benefit. We want to treat pigmentation. So for that customer, it might be just spot treatment on the area of pigmentation. Not a problem. If they can handle it all over, then all over the skin. The next product would be the Sun High VU Protection Cream. Now, why do I not suggest putting a moisturizer in between this? Okay, so in the High UV Sun Protection Cream, we have vitamin C,
Yes.
and we have niacinamide, and we have hyaluronic acid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have.
Sorry, Will, but can you use it as a moisturizer?
Yes, yes. And because I have a bit of a problem with people with pigmentation using thick, greasy moisturizers and then putting a sunscreen over the top. Now, that might work okay with the physical sunscreens, but with chemicals, guess what? It needs to melt into the skin. It needs to work into the skin. So I truly believe that this is the perfect day moisturizer for people with pigmentation to make sure they're getting that SPF 50. In the evening, they would apply their 20% niacinamide serum all over because it's going to benefit the skin all over, ceramide production, barrier health, but also inhibit the transfer of melanin. And then they're going to use another moisturizer, and this would be their second skin condition moisturizer. So the client I'm talking about might say, I've got wrinkles as well as pigmentation, and we would go loss of volume as the skin condition and ultimate anti-age as the skin product.
Okay.
Well,
So
we have a question about tranexamic acid, what it is, and which product is it in?
Yes. So this is a new ingredient that we're working with that we create in the lab, and it is found only in the 15% vitamin C serum. Okay, and it is chemically a melanin inhibitor. It is now thought of as the benchmark or the star of over-the-counter pigmentation treatment ingredients. We've now moved a little bit away from using alpha arbutin. Remember, we worked with alpha arbutin before. Alpha arbutin changed into hydroquinone in the skin, but a lot of countries have banned this now. So tranexamic acid is the actual ingredient. What I will provide is a slide on tranexamic acid because it's so exciting and it's a class in itself, but I will provide that in the cheat sheet because this is a new ingredient. So after in the cheat sheet, after this, you'll see I'll do a slide today. I won't sleep. I'll do a slide today on tranexamic acid, okay, because your customers will ask.
yeah.
Thank you.
So I have a question because you have customers who are going to overuse the product. So, you tell them to use the 15% vitamin C serum during the day plus the sunscreen. They're doing it perfect. But at night, you are telling them to use the 20% niacinamide serum. But they are like, well, if I use the vitamin C on spot treatment underneath my niacinamide, I will have better result. What do you think about that?
Okay. So layering products in that way, if you wanted to layer niacinamide, okay, think about it. If you wanted to layer niacinamide over your C, it's not going to be a problem, but you're getting niacinamide in the sunscreen. Okay, this is why the two products are a dynamic duo.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the niacin, and this is why we've put it in the sunscreen. This wasn't just a formula we came up with because, in Germany we thought, oh, we might just put that, we might put just, we'll put that. No. This sunscreen was developed for that person with pigmentation because we're using we're using this vitamin C serum, but what about the customer that doesn't want a layer? Isn't into layering serums? Then what do? We put the niacinamide in the treatment product. Our sunscreen is a treatment product. We've also done this in the clear skin products. We've put the niacinamide in the cream. Okay, in the cream. That's the difference between the Medical Institute treatment products, the treatment creams, and Bioscience. There's not that focus through, but you'll find that we've worked very strategically with ingredients in serums and moisturizers when they are suggested correctly.
Okay.
Now, a little bit about post-inflammatory pigmentation with acne. Okay, this is why when we talk about the acne client, is we also suggest the acne client starting the vitamin C serum. So we'll talk about that, but that is a form of vitamin C of pigmentation, and our vitamin C is very good at treating it. Very, very good at treating it.
Perfect.
Okay, so that was our pigmentation.
Me ask about pigmentation because here for the estheticians, I feel okay, they do a week or two, but how do you keep them on the regimen? Because the biggest thing is people don't follow through. That's the only thing you don't get the results is, and they're impatient, impatience, I know we agreed. I tell them over and over, 3 months, just, because I know they're going to see it sooner, but don't even ask, the before and after pictures, but they get so impatient. Will, what can we tell them?
Sorry, I'm just looking for something. Excuse me.
What's up, Pierre? I went to take a nap.
Sorry, coming back. Okay, so with the pigmentation customer, it's the hardest one. We never make promises. We never make promises to the pigmentation customer because it only takes one visit out to a barbecue on Sunday and forgotten sunscreen to go right back to the beginning. So we always set really realistic expectations with the pigmentation customer that they have to go on the journey with all of the products completely, and it's a process when we never promise. The other ones we can really work with, but this one, most of the time it will never go away. Okay. we will lighten it. But one secret with pigmentation is we have our little 10% peeling pads. Now, if you think about pigmentation, if I have, look, think about this as our stratum corneum, okay? If I have one sheet, and that is one skin cell, if that has pigment on it, and I can sort of see the light through that, okay, that's quite light. But if I have 15 of them, guess what? That is no longer light and it's dark. So lots of laid pigmented skin cells in the corneum will make pigmentation on the surface look darker. If you can get the client starting this straight away, they will see immediate lightening to their pigmentation. Because guess what? We're reducing all that dark pigment at the surface. Everything else is going on underneath. Most of the pigmentation, well, all the pigmentation ingredients we're working with here are working down low, and they can take time. But if for immediate lightening, guess what? These pads work a treat. And if they just want to use them on the actual spot area, not a problem. But these are an essential part of a pigmentation program as well.
And they would use those at night, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Every night or every other
two or
night?
three times a week on dry skin. I like to leave it for 3 to 5 minutes and then put your moisturizer over the top. Don't waste the pad. So you put it all over the face, then put it on your cuticles, put it on your neck, everywhere. All this product is glycolic acid and panthenol. Beautiful product. It was a fantastic, fantastic product.
Yeah, and make sure the customer will not wash it off, okay?
Yeah. Stays on the skin. Okay, so the next one we're going to focus in is acne. Nicole, take me away.
All right. So Belinda has tight skin and congestion in her T-zone and some redness as well with some post-inflammatory pigmentation.
Okay, so acne, we mainly deal with adult acne. We're not, here in Australia, we're not really a big teenage acne brand. We work mainly with adult acne, and we work with acne in combination skins, and we work with acne in dry skins. Okay, so with acne, I like to think about 4 ingredients: vitamin C, niacinamide, skin biotics, and salicylic acid, with the main ones being salicylic acid and niacinamide. These 2 ingredients. So we'll talk about why would you use vitamin C in acne, post-inflammatory pigmentation spots. Okay, so we are preventing and treating those spots from developing from pigment. What role does niacinamide play with acne? In the control of the sebum in the sebaceous gland. We used to work with, remember in the anti-shine pore refining serum, we used to work with pistachio nut gel gum or something, and all these sorts of things. No, we now work with niacinamide, because what does it do? It slows down and controls the amount of oil in the sebaceous gland. What does that oil cause? The blockages. Too much oil, too thick oil causes the blockages in both combination skin and in dry skin. Skin biotics. Well, if a skin is suffering from acne, you can guarantee that the bacteria levels aren't right, because the pH is what? Too high. And salicylic acid, what is salicylic acid? Keep the pores nice and clean and clear so that sebum doesn't have trouble getting to the surface. So what I would suggest for the acne client, what I'd start talking about is, when clients come in with active angry acne, I always go straight for CBD serum. Why? Because of the lactococcus ferment lysate and the CBD. Okay, but mainly the lactococcus ferment lysate. It is a postbiotic. It is all of the beautiful nutrients. It's like chopped up bits of the good bacteria. It provides all the nutrition that good bacteria needs. When good bacteria flourishes, pH comes down and the skin goes back into balance. So a client comes in active, angry acne, I'm not going to be giving them the 15% vitamin C. So the CBD serum really is the first step. Then when everything's nice and under control, we can move into 15% vitamin C, and that might just be, again, spot treating. Then we would say suggested skin condition moisturizer, or they can use the Sun High V UV protection cream if they want to as their moisturizer, no problem at all.
Mhm.
The suggested skin moisturizers would be the Clear Skin 24 combination or the Clear Skin Anti-Age. In the evening, these two products are really important. We know what ingredients in them, but they have the same ingredients, guess what? But different pHs and different usage. The BHA serum is an exfoliating serum. It's a clearing serum. It has salicylic acid and zinc gluconate, but it is at a pH that offers a skin smoothing, encouraging natural desquamation. It needs to be applied onto dry skin, to be left for 3 to 5 minutes, and then moisturizer over the top. The anti-blemish stick is different. It just goes directly onto the skin, no moisturizer underneath, no moisturizer on top. And guess what? I love to alternate them. Alternate them each night. People might say, why do I need one? Why do I need both? Because they work differently. One works as an exfoliant. The anti-blemish stick does not work as an exfoliant. It's a drying, healing product. Whilst the BHA serum is working as a slight skin smoothing exfoliating product. But it's not super low pH, so it's really lovely and gentle as well. And then over the top of that, we would work with one of the Clear Skin products.
Can a customer use the anti-blemish stick during the day?
Absolutely.
You know, in the US, you have all those kids walking around with those little dots everywhere.
Yeah.
So they could do that, right?
Yeah. So the thing is with the anti-blemish stick, so you get them starting to use it on alternating nights and so forth. I find if you're using it every single night, it can be drying. So the reason this product, it has alcohol in it, the reason it has so much alcohol in it is because it's a brush.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be able to make sure that it doesn't have, bacteria growing within the product. But this product can be drying if it's overused. What do we know happens to when skin is dry? If skin is dry, the sebaceous gland is triggered to produce more oil. So if we're burning and drying out the surface, we're thinking, oh, we're doing a good thing. Are we doing a good thing? No, because we're triggering this. The skin is so clever. The skin is going, oh no, I need more oil. But it's pushing up the oil, but it's clogged because the dead skin cells clogging it. So we're just causing more pimples. So what we don't want to do is over dry. The BHA serum can go around an area, no problem. This needs to go directly on the spot, and it is never to be used as a preemptive product. BHA is preemptive. You might say, I get them here, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, BHA, oh my gosh, fantastic product for block pores on the nose. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But with this product, it needs, okay, a pimple's coming up on the pimple. That's it until the pimple's gone. But do not use it. Sometimes I get pimples there. So I'm just going to paint the entire area. I'm just going to paint. And guess what? Oh, yeah, I promise you, your skin will break out. Oh, no, your blemish stick made me break out. Why did it break out? Because I painted it on areas it shouldn't have been on, which caused more sebum, which caused a pimple. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Sorry, I get very excited when it comes to the blemish stick. Well, the blemish stick has been in our line since 50 years. It's like,
Yeah.
it is a cult. I sell more of that product per item than any product. Like,
I love it so much, and I'm so addicted to it. I don't even think of some of these little things that you're saying. So these are so great because I was like, it sells itself,
Yeah.
but
we have all our mums. They keep it in the emergency. They put it on mosquito bites, on cuts and abrasions. It's perfect. It's so fantastic. It really is. So any questions about the acne client?
No, I think it's pretty clear.
Um, Nicole again on a client with red skin, Cooperose.
Okay, our Cooperos, Kylie has red, some inflammation, and she is prone to breakouts and also has some melasma.
Oh, okay.
But
You're working,
okay,
you're,
One,
you're
Nicole.
working me today.
Yes.
So she's got some melasma on, yeah, melasma, and she's breaking out a little bit.
yeah, and and I like this one because she came to me for melasma, but I see that this is my concern is the redness and the inflammation. So
Yeah.
how do you speak to her?
Yeah, so I think it's important with this particular client, and this is again a tough one, okay, is that there will be the condition the customer sees, but there'll also be the condition you see. And this is when you can start to cycle serums if you would like, okay, working to treat, okay, all of these concerns. So let's focus on a general concern board. We'll work with the ingredients. Skin biotics, really important for Cooperose rosacea, especially, and red skins. Niacinamide, okay, and azelaic acid and CBD. Okay, so these ingredients, I'm thinking, okay, what is about the skin biotics? We know healthy, good bacteria keeps the skin in a nice acidic balance. When the skin is acidic, then it functions properly. When skin is functioning properly, guess what? It can deal with inflammation itself. I think now we think skin's an idiot. We need to provide it with ingredients. We need to tell it what to do all the time. Guess what? This skin's been around far longer than we have, and it has done okay without the 17 serums we're applying over the week. Okay. But so we need to actually work with the skin and just provide it everything so it can get back into balance. And that's what skin biotics do. I talk about skin biotics all the time. They really are my favorite ingredient. Niacinamide. So why is niacinamide important? Niacinamide is essential in the production of ceramides. What are ceramides? Ceramides make up 50% of the skin oils, the skin barrier. Niacinamide is an essential ingredient. Azelaic acid is an anti-inflammatory ingredient. And CBD, again, an anti-inflammatory ingredient. So in AM with red skin conditions, I would use the CBD serum. I would use the CBD serum because it's got the skin biotics and it's got CBD. And it also, if we think about, we haven't put it here, CBD serum has oligohyaluronic acid. Oligohyaluronic acid is the smallest in the hyaluronic acid family. And it's not about surface hydration. It's about deep hydration. And it has a triggering anti-inflammatory effect. So it stimulates the production of our own hyaluronic acid, but also an anti-inflammatory effect down deep in the skin. Oligohyaluronic acid is not about surface plumping. We use it in our skincare for deep hydration. Then the suggested skin condition moisturizer, which might be the Cooperose Care Spot or All Over, or the Hypersensitive Care as well. Then in the evening, you will work with the 10% azelaic acid serum and the Cooperose 24-hour care. So you might say, well, why do we need the Cooperose 24-hour care if we're using the 10% azelaic? In the Cooperose care, we have a peptide called telangian. Now, this peptide is really clever. So whilst azelaic acid really calms inflammation, what does telangian do? It prevents it. Okay? It prevents the inflammation from occurring. And so this is why we work with our serums, but we also work with our treatment moisturizers in medical. And how do we know those ingredients are getting really nice and deep into the skin is by the DMC, the dermal membrane complex, which is in every single medical product, moisturizer product. What is DMC? Think about DMC as the shuttle. It helps the ingredients get deep into the skin. So if you put a serum on, that's great. The serum sort of gets in, it sits on the surface. But then you put one of the Medical Institute moisturizers over the top. Guess what? It's not only carrying the serum you've put on through, but it's carrying the ingredients in the Medical Institute moisturizer deep into the skin where they have to be. What is dermal membrane complex? Okay, comes from lecithin and it mimics the natural fat composition on the skin. We call it liquid skin.
I like that.
Guess what? Natural skin allows the movement of ingredients, doesn't it? If you think about the natural composition of the skin, where all the ceramides are, where all the fats, the cholesterols, the sebum, all of that, it allows the transfer. So this particular product allows all that beautiful transfer of ingredients through the skin. And we find this in our Medical Institute moisturizers, derma membrane complex. We were one of the first companies in the world to start using this ingredient in our Medic Skin product 15 years ago. Medic Skin eventually became hypersensitive. And I liked the fact, to be honest, that it was called Medic Skin. Now hypersensitive is not prescribed enough for me. I know I've gotten Karen onto it, but for me, because it really is our barrier cream. It really is our barrier cream. But all of the moisturizers in medical have this ingredient in it.
I just have to brag about Biodroga always being ahead, because when the Biodroga Medical came out, I think it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested. I didn't want such clean.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like
Sometimes
it, but it's like it's the most demand right now. It's the best.
we talk about it in Germany that we were really at the forefront here. We get all the wind and the rain and the snow in our faces. So, we were the first one, one of the first ones to really start reformulating. And it was tough. It was hard because the biggest ones were the pegs and the cyclic silicons. These two ingredients were essential to the texture of our products. These were tough, and it really has taken time. We've now perfected it. You feel second and third wave products, beautiful.
I also wanted to say, I have to take back a little bit of what I said in the beginning for the people that are not Biodroga customers. Because after going through this presentation, yes, we can match a product up with you that, is for that symptom or condition, but I can't say that they have these ingredients in them.
Going to be
I
difficult.
really
Yes.
can't. I mean, and it's become very clear to me, very clear to me that we're not going to find the exact same ingredients in the other lines. Not saying that we can't
Yeah.
help you with the
We
other
could
lines.
I could provide this for you as a template, and it'd be
Yeah.
very easy to cross
Oh,
this your
absolutely.
brand.
And also, I did want to say, that we're only going through serums and moisturizers here, but just remember, as Will has taught me, for acne skin and cuperous or sensitive skin, you do need the right cleanser and lotion, which we don't need to go through today if we don't have time, but it is really important for those two that you use the right cleanser and toner.
Yeah. So
along with
both of acne and red skin, both of those cleansers and lotions really attach themselves to this skin condition. And again, they contain the ingredients across the board that we use in all of the products. So it's really a system. So I say with acne skin, you need 5 products: cleansing fluid, clarifying lotion, BHA serum, anti-blemish stick, treatment, moisturizer. That you need 5. Okay.
Yep.
With red skin rosacea, calming gel to oil, calming lotion, CBD. Okay. And the Couperose cream and potentially the hypersensitive cream if you want a little bit extra nourishment. So
And the sunscreen always.
always, always. Well, yeah,
Always.
so with the sunscreen, I'm just like, that's a non-negotiable. I really truly believe that this for people is a non-negotiable
Yeah.
product.
We have the CC and the DD. Like you have choices now. It's amazing.
So it's interesting. Let's just talk about one little thing for a moment. There's a lot of talk about why aren't the Medic Skin products as thick, okay, as Bioscience. Okay. So I will tell you now that the absorption of active ingredients from a thick moisturizer as opposed to a oil in water emulsion using DMC, the absorption is so much greater. So you will not find these thick, rich, nutritious moisturizers in medical. We have them in bioscience. Okay. Bioscience is about feel, texture, experience, performance as well. But in medical, we will not have those thick, greasy, because getting those ingredients into the skin is harder in thick, thick creams. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I
Which
also,
is also true with those creams that still have silicones.
Yeah. Oh,
Silicones will
yeah.
prevent the active ingredients getting into the skin.
Silicons are like putting cling wrap on the face. They
Mhm.
really are. It's one ingredient that I'm so glad we don't have anymore. Of course, I don't use, a makeup that, some people are very attached to, but, removing silicons for many, many reasons.
Mhm.
Okay, let's just quickly go through a couple of others before we have questions. Loss of volume. So the focus here would be vitamin C in the mornings, retinol, and peptides. Now we're working with peptides, and in the peptide serum, we work with 5 different peptides. We work with one that stimulates collagen, one that lays beautiful collagen, one that is an anti-inflammatory that prevents collagenesis or the breakdown of collagen, one anti-glycation peptide, which helps with the oxidation of glucose in the skin, and one mimic peptide that mimics glutathione, our master antioxidant. So I'm not a big fan of layering serums. I prefer to cycle serums. I'm a big fan of cycling serums. And the way I talk to my customers about this is just think about, if you just keep think about the stomach, okay? Is if you overeat, what happens? Oh, you get bloated, doesn't feel so good, something, like it's just not right. As opposed to eating a nice healthy diet every single day and not eating too much and eating a varied diet instead of trying to shove it all down in one sitting. Okay, so our skin is the same. I truly believe that skin responds to regular, consistent application of ingredients, and serum cycling works. Day 1 peptide, day 2 peptide, day 3 retinol. Now this is, and you could start again. Okay, or you could pop in CBD, no problem. Okay, you could put CBD into any routine, love, okay, any routine at all, because the skin always needs those beautiful skin biotics. But peptide, retinol works really, really well. The vitamin C serum during the morning, then there's suggested skin moisturizer, sun UV, serum cycling in the evening, and then either the Ultimate Care or the Ultimate Care Rich. Now, why the Ultimate Care? Because whilst the peptides in the serum, we have 5 powerful tetrapeptide, acetyl peptides, hexapeptides. We have 3 other peptides in the Ultimate Cream. And they are one peptide called pentalactin. What does pentalactin do? It is a skin cell stimulator. So it helps stimulate lots of beautiful, fresh, new cells. We have another ingredient called clothianide. What it does is it mimics the youth hormone in the skin. And then we have a third very powerful collagen and elastin stimulating peptide, as well as ceramides, as well as oligohyaluronic acid, all of these ingredients. So that is in the Ultimate Moisturizer. If you're using peptide serum as well as Ultimate Anti-Age, whoa, You are getting every single ingredient your skin needs for loss of volume. We officially call it loss of volume. Your clients will say lines and wrinkles. Next one.
Perfect.
And
And
then
we
the
will
last,
sorry, Will, but we will provide those slides to each of you guys, okay?
yeah,
You will have
these and more. I've got a whole cheat sheet going. So yeah. And the last one is really simple, dehydration. And so with this client, 15% vitamin C serum, guess what? There's high and low molecular hyaluronic acid in our vitamin C serum. So there's no need to layer. Some people are going, oh, I want to use hyaluronic acid and vitamin C. Unnecessary. Okay, so there's vitamin C during the morning, suggested skin moisturizer, UV protection cream. Guess what? There's hyaluronic acid in the sunscreen. And then in the evening, the 3% hyaluronic complex serum. And don't forget, it has 4 types of hyaluronic: high, low, acetylated, one we haven't talked about, which is fat loving, really binds into the skin, and oligo, but also a collagen stimulating peptide in the hyaluronic acid serum. And then our Hydro Effect creams, which again have all of those hyaluronic acid, but lots of ceramides, lots and lots of ceramides in the Hydro Effect creams. And that's our suggestions for our 6 skin conditions. Now, I just want to remind everyone, this is about when we're focusing on skin conditions. You might say, well, what about the other moisturizers in bioscience? We can definitely introduce them, but these are when we're focusing on results-focused skin conditions and solutions. Okay.
okay. I have a question for you, Will. What can you replace the vitamin C serum with if someone is allergic to vitamin C?
Niacinamide.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, niacinamide. If I I talk about skin biotics being my favorite ingredient, but really the most versatile ingredient is niacinamide. So if your customer could only have one serum, niacinamide, because remember, niacinamide also has azelaic acid in it. It's a combo, niacinamide and azelaic. And there's also another ingredient that is a skin biotic. Okay, so it's a great serum. So this is absolutely for everyone. Ceramide production, skin barrier health, even skin tone, um, uh, co- um, hyaluronic acid synthesis. It really is the great all-rounder. So I really sometimes say niacinamide is our most powerful natural anti-aging ingredient. It helps with skin health. Guess what? Healthy skin produces collagen.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. It's an anti-inflammatory, contains azelaic acid. So it really is the great all-rounder.
Perfect. Perfect.
With hypersensitized skin, it's really very simple. It's CBD serum morning and night, and the hypersensitive cream day and night. It's hypersensitized skin likes simplicity. It does not like lots and lots of layering of ingredients, and it just needs support. Hypersensitized skin hopefully will not stay hypersensitized. So we have sensitive skin. Sensitive skin you will have forever. This is sensitive skin. Hypersensitized condition is a heightened state of sensitivity that could quite easily go back to normal.
Like after you're sick or after you got sunburned or things like that.
During
out of
COVID,
out of balance.
yeah. During COVID.
Any acid treatments done or microneedling or something like that?
Yeah. So questions.
Okay, so the one was, what do you say to somebody that says 20 SPF is good enough?
Okay, so 20 SPF is would be absolutely fine if you do not have pigmentation issues. So if pigmentation is your issue, then it's SPF 50 is a non-negotiable. Okay, so but for that customer who doesn't, who just wants UV protection, then SPF 20 in a moisturizer would be no problem. However, if they're going to go out in direct sunlight during lunch, throw the footy around, be with the kids, they need to be wearing SPF 50 because we do not want to get those sunspots or pigmented areas happening. But I never go in the sun. I don't. So I use SPF 15. Okay, because guess what? I have very sensitive skin. Sometimes it's hypersensitized, and chemical sunscreens can cause sensitivity in my skin. SPF 50 has to contain more, almost double the amount of what SPF 15 would. So you've got to weigh up what is this concern and how we could negate this concern. For me,
I also think it's where you live because in Texas,
yeah,
if I drive with an SPF 20 from work to home, this side of my face is way darker than this side of my face.
yeah,
So I think yeah, I think it depends on how often they're outside
yeah.
and where they live and if they have hyperpigmentation, all of those.
My concern with moisturizers that are sunscreens is that people tend to just apply them like lightly, like a moisturizer. They don't apply it like a sunscreen. And you want to apply sunscreen like a sunscreen. Nice and thick reapplication. This is really, really, really important. So you can get a little bit like, oh, I'm just putting a moisturizer on. I don't like my moisturizers too thick. It's not giving you the protection that it needs to.
All right, and
This-
then okay, the next question is what would be the best treatment for hormonal inflammatory acne? How would you change the acne?
yeah, so with hormonal inflammatory acne, it's the same routine. Okay. However, I would introduce the rich care in the evening. Okay, so
Clear skin.
pardon, yeah, yeah,
The clear skin.
the clear skin.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
clear skin anti-aging, I think it's called now, Mrs. Red, yeah.
yeah. So the clear skin anti-age cream is similar formula to the combination cream, and it focuses on niacinamide and salicylic acid, okay, but also retinol.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have three real defenses at acne. Now, you might, and this question comes up a lot, you might say, well, if it's dry skin or dryish skin, then why are we using niacinamide that reduces sebum? You think to yourself, well, actually, what is this? So what niacinamide does is it increases, because when a skin is dry, it will stimulate more production of sebum. Okay, so this is where you get adult dry acne. Is the sebum starts producing and coming up, but it's blocked. So it's producing because it feels dry. What we want to do is have the niacinamide in the clear skin product to increase the amount of ceramides in the skin. And also there's ceramides in the skincare product itself. Because when the skin then registers a beautiful balance of oils, guess what happens to the sebum? It drops.
Mhm.
So with these hormonal type acne, I truly believe that combination skin product during the day, no problem. And then introduce the rich product. It's not super rich. I love, love, love this cream. We've had this cream for a very long time. It's different to the Pure and Dry. Remember Pure and Dry and Bioscience was really quite rich and thick. This is a different product. Why? Because we want to get those ingredients into the skin where they're supposed to be. So it's a nice lipid balance, but it's not too thick. I think all acne customers can benefit from the combination product during the day and then rich in the evening with the retinol. Because what does retinol do? It's going to help with pigmentation, uneven skin. It's going to be anti-aging in the way that it helps with collagen production, but it's also going to make sure that those skin cells are really nice and healthy. They function, they're not too sticky, they're releasing. So skin cell health is really essential in those people with acne. So working with the two products together, it's perfect. You'll notice on all of our products, we actually list the active ingredients. Us trainers have always been very encouraging of this because it really does help the therapist to learn to look and see, okay, there's niacinamide and salicylic acid in this product. Then it's up to you. And the way I like to do it with my students is I get them to write, first of all, they write the ingredient. Then I want them to write a sentence explaining it is the next step. 2 lines. Then I want them then to give me a paragraph and a paragraph. So we go from 2 words on a box to two sentences, okay, to a paragraph of information, and that's up to you to research. So we offer in our product manual, if you go to the product manual, you will see each ingredient has a blurb. So that is the minimum I want you to learn. And then Google. Google and find out as much as you can about that ingredient. Cheat sheet that I'm going to provide you after this, I've listed the actives and I've listed your paragraph for you. Okay, so all the information I'd love you to learn just right now is all on there.
Yeah. Another thing is you can download our training manual with BioYoga from our website. So it's available to everybody.
Sorry. Also, please don't forget, you can call this office, and I'm sure Nicole and Sonia as well, anytime. We love to talk about ingredients. We love to talk about products. And the more we hear from you, we know the more successful you're going to be.
Germany called Nicole Frank, and she creates our products. And I email her all the time. I'm like her worst stalker. So I'm like, "Duh, duh, 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 duh." And I think we have a great relationship. We have a really great relationship because I need to make sure sometimes things in manuals get lost in translation. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm the first to say to them, do you know what? And this is what I found in the rich product of the clear skin, because they weren't explaining properly why we need to reduce sebum production in a dry skin. Because therapists will come about, why would you do that? Well, you want to increase ceramides, but you want to decrease sebum because it's the sebum that's causing the blockage. And I was like, that makes sense. But in the training manual, it was getting lost in translation from German to English. So I ask the questions from Germany, I make sure it's all right, and then we provide this information for you. So if you have these questions, come back. I don't know, Nicole doesn't know, Edith doesn't know, we will ask Germany. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay to use clear skin line on dry acne?
Yes, that's what it's made for. So even the cleansing fluid is not designed for a skin type. Any skin type can use cleansing fluid. It's a skin condition, acne. Then they would use the Rich Care product as their moisturizer, but all the other steps are the same.
And I
Perfect.
think it's beautiful. Like for me, that was my problem too, is because most people, that's why I gave the example of congested but tight and dry, as people are drying out their skin. We're about getting it in balance and healthy. And they're not going to feel that stripping. They're not. They're going to feel like we want it healthy. That's the goal.
This is why the reformulation of Clear Skin, the anti-age product, had to be really very careful that it wasn't too rich, because it's really about balancing. It's about getting a little bit dryish skin back to normal, not over nourishing a dry skin. It's not about over nourishing. It's all about balance with acne. Overnourishment is not a friend of acne. Balance is a friend of acne. Balancing the ceramides, balancing the moisture, nice healthy barrier with a perfect cream that is not too greasy, not too light.
A big thing that our customers say, how do I prevent my customers from buying elsewhere, such as online? And this is important to talk about our experiences of bad products, fakes.
So, like I said before, we're not unique in this, and we were really became very aware of this when we kept other product companies many, many years ago, and we had a company in a website come up, and it was offering everything so cheap. And everyone goes into panic mode and starts discounting. And I'm like, yeah, everyone just needs to calm down and think about how we approach this. So when I talk to my salons, I'm going to put my salon distributor hat on now, is we start talking to them about starting rewards programs in salon. And so when they purchase product through us, and these rewards programs were product focused. They were product focused. So, and we rewarded the customers by the more points they got. And we made these rewards things like back massages that could be attached to their treatment, foot treatments, but also with smaller products like hand cares. So we encouraged this rewards loyalty program and it worked. It really worked. Those customers that we lost to this specific website, I'm sorry, but they also, their hairdresser lost them. They all lost them because they were getting everything from these other sites, and we were not going to win that war. But by providing a rewards program, we encouraged loyalty and we rewarded their loyalty. Because guess what? There's something called the WWW now, and it's a big world out there. When I first started, that was not the case. But guess what? Sitting back complaining that this is happening is not going to help anyone. So I work with my customers and saying, let's start a rewards program for you. Bella's Beauty Therapy's reward program. For each product, you get this point. When you get these points, we do this for you. And it works. It really, really, really works. With the Amazon situation, so recently I had a customer contact me. They had bought a moisturizer online and they were complaining that the product didn't smell right. So where did you get this? And then eventually got out of them that they'd bought it on Amazon or from another space. This product that she gave me was 8 years old or something, 8.5 years old. It was not right. So I said to her, I'm really sorry that this product is out of date and you need to contact the buyer, the seller. Oh, but can't you help me? I'm sorry, I can't help you. We only are able to help with those products bought through official channels, and we provide all the support to you, refunds, anything you need when you buy it through our stockists. Good luck.
Yep.
Really polite, but I did back it up. You buy it through us, you get all the support. Your salon, changes of mind, anything. But we do not help with that situation. And all those products, so many of those products they send, I see them all the time. They're old packaging, they're old products. You know, companies are trying to offload all this product that they can't sell anymore. And if they're going to go and buy that, then that's up to them, but they get no support.
We've even had people buy stuff on Amazon with sizes that the company doesn't make.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a
So,
replica.
and
companies do that.
unfortunately, every single skincare line are going to have some products on Amazon. I mean, you just can't get away from it. The biggest thing is getting the loyalty. And I love what Will said because we hadn't even thought about that. We give you guys loyalty points, but I hadn't thought about passing that down to our estheticians. But that's a great, great idea.
Any salon who does not have a rewards program is not making the most of their services or their loyalty of their customers. And I'm sorry, I fly Qantas. I'll tell you now, I fly Qantas because they're their rewards program. I do.
Yeah.
And I might pay $300 more because I know that I can go to the Qantas Club when I'm traveling. I know that when I have a problem with my flight, I can call Qantas direct and not have to go through Webjet, which you don't get to speak to anyone. So within this club, you're offering all of these fantastic extra things they're going to get when they come into this rewards program. I love it. I love it. I love it. And this is when, you know, you can speak with your with your distributors about how they can also help you and work with you, because that's what we're here for. I love when salons come to me and say, can you help me create this? And I'm like, absolutely. I've got lots of ideas for you.
Say something. We do offer quite a few sales across the year. And I think we have a rewards program on our, if you order online. Karen, am I right
We
about
do.
that?
Yes, we
Right.
do. Yeah.
Pass some of these savings onto your customers. You know, if we give a 20%, give them 10%. We do try and do that for you guys. And any other suggestions? I can't put everything on sale because, you know, it's impossible, but we really do try. So if we do a Mother's Day special, or we do a July the 4th special, or a Christmas special, pass it on, make a big event in your spas and pass that on. I think that will also help.
It helps.
Yeah.
These past
Yeah,
promotions,
absolutely.
passing, and we do it with Germany. Germany might offer 20% on serums, and I'll always grab that.
Oh, yeah, we buy it.
And then I can pass 10% because I want to actually, make something out of it as well. And then I'll pass 10% onto the salon.
Sure, sure.
This is a fantastic way to,
And maybe they'll buy more than one product because it's on sale for 10% this week, and let them stock up, 3, 4 products, and then everybody wins.
so much for today. I really wanted to make it as simple as possible, and I really think this is a simple approach. And using the cheat sheet that we'll get out to you, I think keep parts of it laminated in your salon, print it off, laminate it, put it on a ring. A lot of my salons do that. They put it on a ring and they keep it, a few of them throughout the salon, while the client's getting ready, while the client's getting unchanged or changed, use it as a refresher. I don't, I'm one of those people that you don't need to know all the information, you need to know how to find it. That is really important. Wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.